Today, I'm excited to introduce Heidi Gregory-Judd with Spick and Span Trash Cans. Heidi is the CEO of the company, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. You will find during this interview that Heidi is from the UK. You will hear that lovely accent in her voice. So, Heidi, tell us a little bit about you, how you got here with Spick and Span, and frankly, what brought you to the US.
Well, I've been here for 17 years.
Okay.
I just haven't lost my accent. I came with my husband. We came for 2 years because he's in oil and gas and loved it and never went back. So that's why we're here. My brother also lives in Houston and I'm in business with my brother. And we started the company together about 5 years ago now.
Very nice. And Spick and Span Trash Cans, just so I understand, if people look at your website, which for a second, go ahead and tell us what your website is.
SpickandSpanTrashCans.com. Very
Okay.
easy to remember.
If when I looked at your website, and as you can see kind of from the picture behind you, it almost looks like a modified trash can or trash pickup where they pick up the trash can, put it in,
Yes.
wash it out, sanitize it. The temperature of the water, if I remember correctly, is like 240 degrees. And then they clean the trash can, and you can choose the frequency in which you do it.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we specialize in the cleaning and sanitizing of not just trash cans, recycling bins, dumpsters, playgrounds, outdoor fitness equipment, park equipment, all of those things. And we use up to 200 degrees hot water for the trash cans and up to 230 degrees for the playgrounds and the dumpsters. So we really are sanitizing as well as cleaning. And then we deodorize. And the deodorizer that we use, it eats that bacteria that is creating the odor. So we're eliminating, we're not just masking it with a pretty smell.
Very cool. So I will say I've lived in 3 different countries. I've lived in 7 different states, 13 or 14 different cities. I've never seen this service before. Is this something that you are familiar with being in the UK? Like, is this, or
No,
did you
I
guys
think it
invent it
started
here?
in Australia. I think
Okay.
this is what I hear. It has taken off in the UK. I wasn't aware of it when I lived there. And it's really taking off a lot in America.
Okay.
There's a great company in Florida called Sparkling Bins. They build the custom built trucks. And I don't think you'll find a state without a couple of trash can cleaning companies now.
Okay. Very cool. So just so everybody understands, for me this is kind of unique. So for instance, where I live, we put our trash cans out on Tuesday mornings and we put our recycling out on Wednesday mornings. So do you guys typically work on those same days in that neighborhood, so that way the trash can's already out there and you just kind of follow behind and clean it? How does that work?
Well, so it really depends on how reliable that neighborhood's trash collection is. We have some neighborhoods, they know 9 o'clock in the morning, their trash and recycling are empty,
Sure.
like clockwork. And there are other neighborhoods who know that it's normally done by 4 o'clock. And then we have the odd one or two that never know if they're going to turn up that week. So
Yeah.
we try and be as flexible as possible. And 95% of our customers, we go the following morning, we go first thing.
Okay.
And I know some HOAs aren't happy about trash cans being left out. So we go and get them. The customers give us instructions where to find them, or they give us a gate code or a garage code or instructions. Call me when you're there and I'll open the garage. We do everything we can to make it easy for the homeowner. Because this service is about them. It's not about
Sure.
us. It needs to be convenient. So 95% we do go the following morning. If, for example, you had your trash collected on a Tuesday, but recycling collected on a Wednesday, we would come on a Wednesday afternoon.
Okay.
So your recycling would be same day, but your trash can would be next day.
Very cool. So tell me a little bit, how long have you had the company here in Houston, and let's go from there.
So we started 5 years ago.
Mhm.
And it was only ever meant to be a little family business. My brother would drive the small truck. We started out with a far smaller vehicle with one pair of arms, picked up one bin at a time. I think that the water, I should, sorry, explain, the trucks have two water tanks, one to hold the clean water and one to collect the dirty
Okay.
water. So we're actually taking all that horrible mess with us. So I think our first truck maybe held 200 gallons. I think we could maybe do 40 or 50 bins in
Okay.
want clean. And I was just going to do the the admin and the customer service. Well, within 6 months, we had to buy a second truck, and I was out driving. It's
Okay.
just people loved it. As soon as they saw it, heard about it, they loved it. And I mean, it's incredible. The bins come out looking like new. It's
Okay.
really amazing. So it took off very, very quickly. I think mostly people, not just because of COVID, I think people were beginning to realize anyway, they're much more aware of how easy it is for bacteria and viruses to be transmitted. And one thing I learned in the first few weeks of owning this business, and I just can't forget it now, is that your average trash can has 411 million bacteria per square inch. Per square inch. I mean, that's just gross. And your average playground, more than 50% is contaminated with sweat, mucus, vomit, blood, urine.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got 3 boys, and I mean, I would wash the hands when we got home, but yeah. So I think people are much more aware of that now, and they want them cleaned, they want them sanitized.
It's I remember one of my elementary school teachers, we would come in from the playground and she would immediately have us go wash our hands. And she
Yeah.
would always say, the playground is dirtier than the toilet, so make sure you wash your hands. And it's true.
It is. It's a proven. University studies have proven they are a bigger biohazard than public restrooms.
Yes. Okay. Well, on that great note.
And on that note.
So tell us a little bit about what you attribute your fantastic growth to. I mean, you've grown significantly in those 5 years, even really just in year one. So is it all word of mouth? Is it what all of you use? What do you attribute your growth to?
I think it's a few things. I think seeing the trucks, people actually seeing them. I get lots of calls from people on the I-10, very excited. Oh, I'm driving behind your truck, and I never knew such a thing existed. So seeing the truck certainly has helped. And I think word of mouth. And I pride myself. We provide outstanding customer service.
Mm-hmm.
Life is crazy. I mean, my life's crazy. I work, I have kids. We are flexible with that. If you forget to put your bin out, we'll come back. We'll reschedule you. If the trash wasn't picked up, or you're on holiday, or whatever, we will reschedule you. If it got stained and it doesn't come clean that first time, we'll come back next week. We'll pre-soak it and we'll come back for free, because that's our job, to get it clean. So I do think word of mouth, because everybody is very happy with our customer service. And I expect high customer service when I pay for something. So I give it. I treat my customers how I would want to be treated. And my employees do as well. They're amazing.
Very cool. So let's talk about that a little bit. You mentioned that when you first started, your brother was driving a truck, you were doing admin, then shortly thereafter, you were driving a truck as well. I'm assuming you're not driving a truck anymore.
No.
Tell me.
Those trucks are big. You see the picture. No, I don't drive those. Goodness, no.
Is your brother still driving, or is he?
He does sometimes. He picks up the slack if somebody's sick, or if we're super busy.
Okay.
So on an average day, I don't like to schedule more than 60 stops for a driver. I think actually I try and keep it to 50. That's, it's hard work.
Yeah.
But sometimes, especially we close for the holidays, I like to give my employees time off to spend with their families. So that means I'm reorganizing, rescheduling.
Yeah.
So some days get very busy. So if they end up with 70 stops, then Adam's out there with them.
Sure.
They also have an assistant too. So,
okay.
So he doesn't drive as much. So we have some great drivers and an assistant who kind of spends his time depending on how busy their routes are.
Okay, so then tell me a little bit about what has been one of the biggest learnings as an employer since you began the business.
Oh, lots of things. I'll tell you one thing that has really shocked me, but this isn't really about my employees, but there are so many people that don't want to work. And I don't understand that. That I just find that was challenging, finding our staff in the first place. But now we have our staff, it's been a great experience for me because I don't have a background in business when I started this. Um, but I guess just learning that we're all one team. Yes, I might own the company, I might be the boss, but we're still a team. We still, you know, I respect them, I look after them because they are looking after me. They are my face to my customers. So they look after my customers. They do their job really well. I look after those staff because they mean a lot to me. So Adam and I, we treat them like family. We look after them.
Very cool. That's great to hear. And I think you're 100% correct. Not only are they the face in the public, but frankly, they're the first line of customer service. And it doesn't necessarily matter how great your customer service is or your team's customer service. If that experience is bad, it's bad and it's hard to turn it around. So, okay, very cool. So, let's talk a little bit about time management. So you mentioned, you started and you're laughing. Everybody laughs when you start talking about time management. Tell us a little bit about how time management maybe was a struggle for you. It's not as much of a struggle now, how you kind of overcame that.
Yeah, I always thought I was really good at time management, but and then we got super busy and I realized I can be very organized. But when everything gets busy, when my home life gets busy and the work gets busy, I get disorganized. I get tired. I don't look after myself. I look after everybody else. And then obviously that makes it worse. So I've had to really work hard on that. But I've got better. I color code my calendar. I have to really make myself stick. So if I'm supposed to be only doing financial planning in that hour, I really have to make myself only do financial planning and not be distracted. But I'm still learning at that. I'm getting better, but I'm still learning. Yeah.
Sure. I think that, oftentimes we hear that from so many business owners that they end up getting to a point where they're working in the business rather than on the business.
There's that constant drag back in, and I'm trying so much to be on. And actually, this is one of my new. I love this 60-minute hourglass. This is saving me.
Very nice.
This is one of my new tactics. I was examining Toby's quadrant. You know that? Yeah, I seem to spend a lot of my time in the wrong quadrant, so I'm trying to focus to be in that second area. But I'm getting there. But you're right; it's really hard as a business owner to stay on and not in.
Very cool.
And I'm not very good at delegating either. So
it's always, it's funny. Some people are not good at delegating because they struggle with relinquishing control. Other people have a difficulty in delegating because they don't want to burden other people. And then there are those others that struggle with delegating for a whole host of reasons. But I found that the majority of people, it's either they don't want to bother someone else when really that's kind of what they're there for. It's always fun. So then let's ask, what advice would you give to a new business owner in your business, any business, it doesn't matter, about financial management? You mentioned, and I don't know if you knew it, but you cringed a little bit when you talked about financials.
Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bookkeeping, goodness me. I think the biggest thing I would say is budget. Stick to your budget and don't try and do your taxes yourself. You can't be a bookkeeper and a CPA and a payroll tax specialist and a business owner. You can't do everything. And I learned that the hard way. So that would be my advice, definitely. Just focus on your budgets and your tracking. That's all you really need to do, and outsource everything else. As soon as you can afford to, outsource it.
Very nice. So you mentioned earlier about your employees and how you struggled a little bit to find the employees, but then once you found them, you have fantastic employees and you love them all. So my question is, and something that I talk to my clients about, is sometimes it's a matter of getting the right people on the bus. You might have them in the wrong seats, but getting the right people on the bus, and then you can figure out what seat they need to be in. So what things have you done, or what qualities or attributes do you look for in a potential employee when you're bringing them on, so that you know that they're the right person for the team? You just got to figure out where they're going to sit.
Yeah. So they need to like people.
Okay.
They need to be sociable, friendly, chatty. And if it's for the office, definitely they have to be like that on the phone. You know, they need to be talking to anyone on the phone as if it's their granny. So they definitely need to be people. That's not probably a phrase, but anyway. That's the biggest thing, because as you said, you know, they are seeing the customers, they are my face, my company's face. So they need to like people, be friendly, be chatty, and then I suppose fast learners. It's not a hard job. I mean, that the equipment does the majority of the work for the drivers, but there's a lot to remember, I suppose. So yeah.
Okay, very cool. Switching gears, you've had the business now for 5 years. Where do you see yourself, or where do you see your business in 5 years?
Oh, I hope I'm still going strong. I really enjoy
Okay.
it. I love my customers. I love talking to them. I love it when they call up and they tell me a story, or their children, or they want to know exactly what time is the truck going to be there, which I can never say because of traffic, because their children are waiting so they can watch because they love it.
Yep.
So no, I love my job. I hope I'm still going strong with more trucks and more great employees and more amazing customers.
Very nice. Very nice. Last question. Any words of advice you would give any other business owners looking to grow their business? You've hit on a couple great nuggets, but any words of advice?
Gosh. Be patient,
Okay.
not expect everything to happen immediately. I don't believe any business, any real business is a get rich quick scheme overnight. So just be patient, be organized, be willing to take advice even when you are, you know, not wanting to listen.
Sure.
Ask for help, and network.
Okay.
Definitely network. How can you expect your business to grow and people to use you if they don't know you or don't know you exist? So definitely. And I was slow at that because I was so bad at delegating, possibly have time to go and, you know, meet people or tell people about what I do. And that was a mistake for sure. So definitely. And there are so many different ways to network, you know, not necessarily join a group. You can. I belong to a BNI group and I love it. But there are, you know, there's chambers of commerce, there's church groups, there's community groups, there's coffee mornings. There's so many great ways that you can network. So definitely get out there, tell people what you do, and just be as patient as you can.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to checking back within you. I can't talk today. Checking back in with you in the next year or so, and see how the business is going.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Heidi.
Thank you very much.